The whole ICU staff went silent as Darius tore the badge from his wife's chest. "You're fired, Solani. You don't belong in my hospital." His mother smirked. The new nurse he'd been seeing laughed out loud. They had no idea the woman walking toward the exit held the only signature that could decide the future of the hospital they proudly called theirs. She did not cry. She picked up her coat. She walked past the nurses she had trained. She walked past the patients she had sat with all night. Darius folded his arms and watched her go. He felt tall. He had no idea the woman he was throwing into the storm was the one who quietly held everything he loved. In her bag was an envelope, cream-colored, sealed, her father's handwriting on the front. She had carried it for 2 years and never opened it. She held it now in the parking lot and did not cry. Welcome to today's story. If you enjoy emotional drama and shocking twists, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more unforgettable stories. And before we begin, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. But Darius had not always been this cruel. Or maybe he had, and she had just been too kind to see it. 10 years back, Solani was the one with the future, top of her class, a scholarship to finish medical school. Everybody said she would be a doctor before 30. Then her father got sick. Nobody else would leave their life to sit at his bedside, so she did. She put the white coat down. She fed him. She bathed him. She read to him when his eyes went dim. Darius was just a young administrator then, charming, hungry. He told her she was the strongest woman he had ever met. She married him in a small dress in a small church. Her father, thin and gray, gave her away in a wheelchair. "Take care of my girl," her father told Darius. "With my life," Darius said. Her father looked at him a long moment. He did not smile. Later that year, her father passed, and before he did, he pressed the cream envelope into her hand. "Not now," he whispered. "When they show you who they are, open it then. You will know the day." She thought it was grief talking. She put it in a drawer. Years passed. Darius climbed. She stayed a nurse so his salary could look like the big one. She took the night shifts nobody wanted. She covered his mistakes on the floor and never told a soul. His mother, Gloria, came for dinner every Sunday and found new ways to make her small. "Nursing is sweet, but it isn't a career, is it? Not like my son's." Solani said nothing. She poured the tea. Then came Simone. New nurse, bright smile, always where Darius was. Her name started coming up at breakfast, then at midnight, then in photos where she stood a little too close. Solani saw it. She is not a fool. She just kept working and kept quiet and kept carrying that cream envelope from drawer to drawer, never opening it, until the day he tore the badge off her chest. That night she opened it. Inside was a single card and a phone number. The card said, "Call Solomon. He kept it safe. It was always yours." She did not scream. She dialed. Solomon answered on the second ring, like he had been waiting for years. Maybe he had. "Ms. O'Coffer," he said, "I wondered when this call would come. Do not sign anything Darius puts in front of you, not one page. Come to my office in the morning." "Solomon, what did my father leave me?" she asked. A pause. "More than you think," he said, "but not on the phone, in time." The line went quiet. She sat with the card in her hand until the sun came up. One question turned over and over in her mind. What did her father know that she didn't? Solomon's office was old wood and quiet light. He set a thick folder on the desk and did not open it right away. "Your father did not leave you money," he said. Her heart dropped. "Then what?" "He left you a trust." He tapped the folder. "Money runs out. A trust holds things, buildings, companies, control." "Control of what?" Solomon almost smiled. "We will get there. This is handled like evidence, not revenge. one step at a time. He slid one page across, just one, a holding company name at the top, Vantage Health Holdings. Read that name, remember it, you will hear it again soon. She did not know it yet, but she had heard that name before, on Darius's lips, late at night, on the phone. Why does it sound familiar? She asked. In time. She went home and started writing everything down. Every strange thing, every number that never added up. She made herself a quiet witness to her own life. The first thing that did not add up was a bank alert, a credit card in her name. She never opened it. $12,000, already spent. She brought it to Solomon. He looked at it a long time. Someone opened this using your details, he said. Someone in your house. Why would Darius run up debt in my name? She asked. To make you look reckless, Solomon said. A reckless wife is easier to divorce, easier to push out of things. He said it in the evidence pile. Keep every statement. Do not confront him. She nodded. But if he was already building a case against her, what did he think she had that was worth taking? The next piece came from the hospital itself. A friend in records, quiet and loyal, slid her a printout, an expansion contract, Darius's big deal, his ladder to chief executive. At the bottom of the page, one line was highlighted. Subject to approval by the majority owner, Vantage Health Holdings. That name again. She stared at it in the parking garage until her hands went cold. His whole future needed the approval of the very company her father had left her. She just did not know how much of it was hers. She called Solomon from the car. The deal needs Vantage to sign off, Solomon. Do I own part of Vantage? Silence on the line. Come in tomorrow, he said. There is more, but not yet. That night, Simone made her first real move. She posted a photo. Darius's house, the wall where the wedding pictures used to hang, now bare. Her caption read, "Some spaces feel better once the past is removed." The whole hospital saw it. The nurses whispered. The story was set. Yolani was the past, and Simone was the future. Yolani saw the photo too. She did not cry. She saved it and sent it to Solomon and wrote one word underneath. Evidence. The next morning, Solomon opened the folder all the way. Your father founded Vantage, he said. He built this hospital before you were born. He kept his name off the door on purpose. He wanted to see who would be kind when they thought no one important was watching. He turned the page. Vantage owns the hospital, and you, Yolani, are the named successor, not a shareholder, the successor. When the trust activates, you control all of it. The room went very still. I own the hospital, she said slowly, the one he fired me from. You own the ground he is standing on, Solomon said. He does not know it. His deal cannot close without your signature, and he's been forging documents to try to reach around you. Forging? That's a crime, Solomon said. Not a divorce, a crime. But we wait. We let him reach for it in front of everyone. She thought that was the whole truth. It was not, because 2 days later the game turned. Simone came to see her, not to fight, to offer a deal. I know about Vantage, Simone said, cool as glass. I did my homework long before Darius did. I didn't come here for him. I came here for the hospital. Yolani kept her face still. Then why tell me? Because Darius is going to lose, Simone said, and when he does, I'd rather be standing next to the woman who wins. Sign the deal over through me, and I'll make sure your name stays clean. Refuse, and I hand Darius everything I know, and the two of us bury you together. So the mistress had never been about love at all. She was a player, and she had just made her move. Yolani looked at her for a long moment. She said, "No." Just that. Simone smiled a thin smile. "Then it's war." She did not know Yolani had already recorded every word. That night, Darius made his countermove. He filed for divorce fast, and he filed for full custody of their daughter, little Ada, 7 years old. His papers called Yolani unstable, reckless, a woman with secret debt and a public breakdown, unfit to raise a child. The credit card, the torn badge, the empty wall. He'd built the whole story, brick by brick, months in advance. Yolani read the custody papers at the kitchen table. She did not scream. She called Solomon, and her voice was steady. "He is using my daughter," she said. "I know," Solomon said gently, "and that's the mistake that will end him. There's a clause, but not yet. Bring Ada to a safe place. Come to the gala and bring everything." "The gala," she said. "The Foundation Gala," Solomon said, "where the Vantage succession is read aloud by law, once a year, in front of the whole board, in front of the whole hospital." He paused. He invited himself to celebrate his deal. Let him. The gala was gold light and long tables and every important face in the city. Darius stood at the front, with Simone on his arm and Gloria at his side. He had a speech about the future. He had a smile like he already owned the room. He did not see Zolani come in. She wore black, she wore calm, she carried a slim folder and nothing else. The board chairman stepped to the microphone for the yearly reading of the trust, just a formality, everyone thought. "As required," the chairman began, "we confirm the controlling successor of Vantage Health Holdings, owner of this hospital." Darius chuckled to someone beside him. He thought it was noise. "The successor," the chairman said, "is Zolani Okafor." The room turned. Darius stopped smiling. Zolani walked to the front, slowly. She took the microphone with a steady hand. "Good evening," she said. "Some of you watched my husband tear the badge from my chest last week. You watched him tell me I did not belong in his hospital." She let it sit. "It was never his hospital. My father built it. My father left it to me. Every wall Darius stood so tall against, I own." Gloria's face went gray. "You cannot," Darius said. "You cannot." "I can," Zolani said, "and your deal, the one you sold your marriage for, cannot close without my signature." She looked at him. "I will not be signing." The room erupted. That was peak 1. But Solomon stepped to the microphone next, and the second wave came. "There is more," Solomon said, "as there always was." He opened the file slowly. "The expansion contracts Mr. Darius submitted to the board carry a signature from Vantage's successor, authorizing the deal. That successor never signed them. These are documents forged. That is not a family matter. That is a felony." For a heartbeat, the ballroom forgot how to breathe. Chairs scraped softly across the polished floor as members of the hospital board rose to their feet one by one, staring at Darius as though they were seeing him for the first time. Doctors exchanged stunned glances. Nurses who had watched Darius tear Zolani's badge from her uniform only days earlier lowered their eyes in shame before looking back at her with newfound respect. No one rushed to Darius's defense. No one spoke. Then, somewhere near the back of the ballroom, an elderly nurse head slowly began to clap. Once, twice. Another nurse joined her, then another. Within seconds, the applause spread from table to table until nearly the entire ballroom had risen to its feet. The woman they had watched leave in humiliation was now standing exactly where she had always belonged. Zolani did not smile. She did not bow. She simply stood there with the same quiet dignity she had carried through every night shift, every insult, and every betrayal. Across the room, Gloria's confident expression slowly crumbled. For the first time, she realized the room was no longer standing behind her son. It was standing for the woman he had tried to destroy. The applause faded into a heavy silence. Then gasps rippled across the ballroom as two men near the back calmly stood up. Later, everyone would learn they were investigators who had been invited long before the gala began. Darius spun to Simone. "Say something! Tell them!" Simone stepped back from him, right there in the gold light. "I won't go down with you," she said, and she turned to the board. "He asked me to hide it. I have the messages. I'll hand them over." She had chosen the winning side, exactly as she'd promised. Darius looked around the ballroom, waiting for someone to deny it. No one moved. The board members who had applauded him only minutes earlier quietly stepped away. Doctors avoided his eyes. Nurses who had watched Darius tear Zolani's badge from her uniform stood in complete silence. Two hospital security officers walked forward with calm professionalism. "Mr. Darius," one of them said quietly, "by order of the board, your executive access has been suspended effective immediately." He laughed once. "You can't be serious." Neither man answered. One officer held out his hand. "Your badge, sir." Darius instinctively touched the executive badge clipped proudly to his jacket. Only days earlier, those same hands had ripped a nurse's badge from her uniform in front of the entire hospital. Now his own fingers hesitated. Slowly he unclipped it. The officer accepted it without a word. A member of the IT department standing near the stage quietly tapped a tablet. Darius's phone vibrated. Executive access revoked. Building access disabled. Administrative privileges removed. Company email deactivated. His face drained of color. He took one desperate step toward the microphone. "Please, just let me explain." The chairman calmly placed a hand over the microphone. "Your opportunity to speak has ended, Mr. Darius." No one argued. No one protested. The same nurses who had watched Zolani walk out in humiliation now silently watched Darius leave the ballroom with his head lowered. Zolani never looked at him. She had already moved on. Darius reached for his last card. "The custody hearing," he shouted. "She is unfit. That is on record." Solomon almost pitied him. "The trust has a clause your wife never read because her father wrote it for a day like this. Any successor who is attacked through their own child forfeits nothing, but the attacker forfeits everything held jointly. You did not just lose the deal, Mr. Darius. By filing those papers, you signed away every asset your marriage shared." Darius sat down hard because his legs would not hold him. Zolani did not gloat. She did not scream. She looked at the man she had once wheeled her father toward, and she felt something quieter than anger. "You showed me who you were," she said softly, "just like he said you would." She left the gala on her own 2 feet, the same way she left the ICU, only this time the whole room stood. The following Monday, the hospital felt strangely quiet. Word had already spread. Every doctor knew. Every nurse knew. Every receptionist knew. Even the volunteers whispered her name. Shortly after 8 o'clock, the automatic glass doors slid open. Zolani stepped inside wearing a simple navy business suit instead of her old nursing uniform. She carried no speech, no security, no celebration, only a slim leather folder beneath one arm. For a brief moment, the entire lobby seemed to stop breathing. Monitors continued beeping, elevators opened and closed, yet no one moved. Then an elderly nurse, the same woman who had stood frozen when Darius ripped Zolani's badge from her uniform, slowly removed her glasses and began to clap. Once, then again. A second nurse joined her. A doctor standing near the reception desk smiled and applauded. Within seconds, the applause spread across the lobby. Receptionists stood, orderlies smiled. Patients waiting for appointments looked up in confusion before joining the applause. The sound echoed through the hospital corridors. Some nurses wiped tears from their eyes. Others simply smiled. One young nurse quietly whispered, "Welcome home, ma'am." Zolani stopped for only a second. She looked around at the people she had worked beside for years. Then she smiled gently. "Let's take care of our patients." That was all she said. The applause grew even louder. As guests quietly left the ballroom, Gloria remained standing alone. For the first time in years, there was no pride left on her face. She slowly walked toward Zolani. Her hands trembled. "Zolani." Zolani turned politely. Gloria lowered her eyes. "I was wrong." The words came slowly, as though each one weighed more than the last. "I judged you by your title, not by